foolish. Try to get them funds up, killing the mic just like I ran the jewels. And y'all gonna get done up front and on that kid with an attitude. But you can't really blame this motherfucker. It's what he had to do. I'm about that cash flipping, I'm getting it on and off the market. Not about that VIP, not me, not never been a fan of carpets. All about that RIP for all of my Jesus gone departed. All about that business when I started, I'm about that.
Top down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
Know that I'm about it. Want a man I can bring the drama, but it ain't by chance I'm fucking rapping. You don't really want a problem. Made a little cash in the back end, but still rapping like homie starving. Yeah, y'all gotta ask who the man is. Hope I'm gonna be like, beg your pardon. Homie, I'm about that.
Top down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night. Top down the night, you're not ready. We ride, we're about that. So high, we see the whole city. We own the night.
And what's up, everybody? It is a Tuesday edition. It is July 21st, and you are on the YSN Power Hour. Welcome to the hour, or I guess the best hour of the day for a lot of us, and for some of us, it just gets us through the rest of the day of the work week. I'm DJ Yoakley, Billy McCartney, then you have Paul Munson, EB, Eric Bailey, Jamie Thompson, Richie Giuliano, Quinn Pushkar in the back, and our brand new rookie to the show, it's Ty Bartell. Boys, how are we?
Doing great.
All right, it
good.
is National Junk Food Day. So naturally, we start off with our national day. That is today being National Junk Food Day. Boys, what is your go-to junk food? What is your prime number one? And maybe one you can't stand. Billy, we'll start with you.
Probably just a bag of Doritos, and I'm a sucker for the sweetened chili. Those are my go-to right
What is
there.
that? The purple
Sweet
bag?
and spicy.
Yeah, sweet and spicy. There you go.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You stole mine.
Is there one that you
go-to.
absolutely can't stand, Billy?
Anything like mustard pretzels, like I don't do any of that.
All right, Paulie, what's your go-to?
My go-to is I'm a cake guy. I love cake.
The sweets, okay. What's the one you stay away from?
Cakes. I'm always good. I don't like coconut. Not a fan of coconut.
Okay. All right, coconut. Didn't see that one coming. EB, what's up on the Better Connection, hopefully?
Definitely. I'm a big chocolate peanut butter guy. I'm gonna go Reese's. Anything Reese's with Reese's in it, I'm all about. And one that I don't like, I guess there's kind of two: black licorice and candy corn.
Oh, candy corn. It's worn on me over the years. Like, I can do it just because nobody else wants it because there's an abundance of it. But my question for you is this: the age-old battle of, is Reese's an actual? What would you? Is it a candy bar? What is it?
I don't know. It's just good. That's where I'm at.
I don't know where the classification is. Classification is for that. Like, if you're asking your favorite candy bar, some people always throw in Reese's. I think that's a little bit cheated because it's not really a candy bar.
It's a hybrid.
Yeah, it's a
It should
hybrid.
be a hybrid.
Yeah, it's like a Prius. That's
Like
what it
Kit
is.
Kat.
Kit Kat's a
Oh, no,
candy
it's-
bar.
Well, Reese's is way better than a hybrid than a
Breaks
Prius.
apart though.
The Reese's is the Prius of candy bars. If we're going that route, it has to be. That's just
No
how
way.
it goes.
No way. It's in its own category. It's like, I guess it would fall under a candy bar with everything else, but it's better. It's more like the Bentley of candy bars, not a Prius, man. Come on, don't do Reese's like that.
All right, that's my bad. I respect the Prius. I mean, if you've ever seen the other guys, you have to respect the Prius. It always goes down. So, it's Jamie. What's your junk food?
I'm gonna have to go with the Cape Cod kettle cooked chips. Those are definitely my number one. And then anything salt and vinegar flavored, can't eat it. I hate it.
Really? What is it about the salt and vinegar? Because that's usually the go-to for everybody.
I know. I hate it. It's nasty.
All right, Richie, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say the purple Doritos, but now I'm going to switch over to the peanut M&Ms. I'm a big peanut M&M guy, and One thing I hate is the onion chips. Like any onion flavored chips, I'm not a fan of.
I don't think I've ever. Like, oh, you mean like sour cream
Like
and cheddar?
sour cream and onion.
Sour cream and onion. See, I don't mind that. I don't mind it.
I'm not a big fan of those.
All right, here's the one everybody's been waiting on. Q, what's your junk food?
Popcorn. As you can see.
What you smell? Oh, I thought I smelled popcorn.
Yeah, popcorn. That's my. Well, it's not really junk food, I guess, but.
Did you just look around the kitchen there and see what
No,
we had
it's
available?
it's legitimately popcorn. I could eat popcorn pretty much every day, all day. One I don't like. Yeah, I'd have to agree with Paul. I don't do coconut. Something about it's just nasty to me.
Is it? What's the one that has coconut? Is that Mounds?
Mounds, almond joy.
Almond Joy, yeah. I'm okay with that. Would you do a pina colada? Like, can you do those?
No.
Nothing at all. Okay.
No coconut.
Yeah. It's the coconut texture, like coconut cream pie or something like that. Just disgusting.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So it's just the texture. It's not necessarily the flavor.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. Ty, what the new guy gets to unveil? Hopefully something new. Don't piggyback off anybody. This is your moment to shine, young man. What do you got?
I'm actually going to take it a step further with Q's. It's popcorn, but it's a step further. I don't know. Most ballparks actually have it. It's the tri popcorn where you get the butter, the cheddar cheese, and the caramel corn, and it's like all mixed into one. Perfect. That is my go-to with anything. I try to make it like at home and everything, and you get them in like the big tins around like Christmas time and everything. But that's always a go-to junk food. One that I hate, any of those like those old-timey dollar store candies, the Necco wafers, circus peanuts, can't stand like any of that stuff.
Really? What about like I was actually gonna say gummy worms for mine. Like I've been addicted to gummy worms lately since the girls came around. Does that count in yours, Ty? Are you a gummy worms guy?
I feel like gummy worms, it depends on who makes them too. Some companies can make a gummy worm better than others, and I feel like it depends on like what company is producing the gummy worms. But any of those old-time dollar store candies, I can't stand any of them.
I respect that. I respect that a lot. Chase Anderson chiming in, saying, my guys right here. Chase, thanks for chiming in. We appreciate you. Let's get to some sports, boys, because we got some breaking news. The OHS FCA releasing a proposal, and we're going to go to a graphic here. It was first reported by our good friend and partner, Dana Ballish, from 21 WFMJ Sports. Ohio High School Football Coaches Association released a 38-page proposal on how a full high school football season can happen in the fall of 2020. Now, that being said, we were able to build the graphic around it, and here is the crux of it. So when you look at this, guys, and I know a lot of you seeing for this for the first time, there's going to be a major difference between 2019 and 2020. This is the proposal, obviously. This is nothing is written in stone or concrete. The yards of sideline space is going to go from 50 to 80 yards, which I think is, and there's a reason that it's at the top, because that is the biggest thing. You can actually be able to stand 6 feet away from your teammates if necessary. Minutes of full contact per day drops from 30 minutes to 18 minutes. Social distancing for spectators, there will be intact. Social distancing on sidelines by all players, intact. It goes back to the 80 yards there. Mask worn by attendees, that is a yes. Seating designed for social distancing, that is a yes. Individual water containers, that is a yes. So no more of the trough, so to speak, for the players. They're going to have their own water containers, whether it's Gatorade, water, you name it. Hopefully we don't get into the NFL side where there's different things in those water bottles. The symptom checklist for participants, that is going to be a yes. Hand sanitizer available, that is a yes as well. The mandatory stoppage of play goes from 12 minutes to 6 minutes. So they're trying to really minimize the time that people are there and can contract a virus or whatnot. The temperature taken for all attendees, yes, I think that's a very smart idea. Isolation room, that's a yes. Coaches wearing masks on the sideline, that's a yes. Players reporting to practice at staggered times, that's a yes as well. That's going to be an interesting topic for us. Halftime length goes from 20 minutes to 12 minutes. Social distancing in locker rooms, that is going to be a yes. That's going to be interesting because I think a lot of us have seen the visitors' locker rooms. That could be a problem, I think, under this particular category. What else we have? Sanitation of equipment each day. That's a yes. We've seen that in baseball as well. Social distancing guidelines for all bus trips. That's a yes. Periods of no more than 9 minutes in pods for practice. That is also a yes. CDC guidelines for all meetings and film sessions is encouraged. Scrimmages limited to 2 teams. That is a yes. And the limit of the number of non-essential personnel on the sidelines is also a yes. So, from all of that, what is your major takeaway from all of those lines, guys? Of one that is maybe a really good idea and one that could be very difficult to keep over the course of 10 to 15 weeks. I know, Paul, this is one that you've been kind of looking at. It might be the first time you've seen it, but it's you see this each and every week. You've been in some of these meetings. What's one that you really can appreciate?
I like the sideline issue, opening up the sidelines to give more room to the kids and coaches on the sidelines. I think that's going to be big. And all these different things they're talking about, they're showing that they're trying to make an effort to get this taken care of. They're like, listen, we are going to show you we can do these things, and this is what we propose so that we can have a season. And they want to have a season. The coaches I've talked to, the ADs I've talked to, I mean, they want to have a season, and they're doing things the best they can to get this done. I think that's a great one. The one I think going long term that's going to be very hard to do is I think your locker room issue. Like you said, I mean, there's plenty of these schools, even the home locker rooms are not that big in some of these older schools, especially at their stadiums. And now the further you get into the season, in the first half of the season, I'd say probably your first 4 to 5 games, there's sometimes you might be able to be outside, have some kids standing outside the locker room at halftime and stuff. But the later end of the season, when it's cold, you're going to have kids standing outside even longer than they need to be if they can't get in a warm locker room for a little bit. And, what about your kids that are, your non-essential, I don't want to say non-essential players, but the kids that don't get in that much, your freshmen and stuff, you're going to keep them outside and say, you guys stay out here while everybody else who just was on the field, they get to come inside the warm locker room.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of questions around that. I mean, some of these teams dress 60 kids and only 30 of them play. So the question becomes, do the other 30, are they necessarily supposed to be there? Should they be there? I mean, you want them to be part of it because it's kind of a reward on a Friday night to be that you're part of the team. But given the circumstance, I mean, do you trim that down to 40? Do you trim it down to 45? That's one of the questions that I had for football from the jump. But a lot of these teams don't have that problem because everybody's essential. If you look at the smaller schools, we had the coach's corner with Sebring last night. He's got 25 guys out. The high water mark was 31 kids. You'd want to dress all of them. You know what I mean? When you're dealing with 22, 24 positions or so, you want to dress all of them if you only have 25 kids. Now, if you have 60 kids, that's a different story. But I'm with you. I think the sideline thing is going to be huge. And I think the locker rooms are going to be a problem. I've been in some really small visiting locker rooms, and I think it's going to pose a problem for social distancing. EB, I mean, you guys, again, I hate to beat a dead horse. You've been through this. You've been on this. What really stands out to you about this list?
Yeah, like you said, we've been through this, and a lot of that list kind of matches up with what we did for AAU and what we're still doing for AAU. Really, I saw 2 problems, which is going to be the locker room thing. I think we all could probably agree with that one. It's the locker room. It's just how it is. Some of these places are super tiny, but that's going to come down to size of teams. I know in the 90s, Crestview used to get like 60, 70, 78 kids per team when Paul Julia was there. And on Friday nights, he just didn't dress freshmen because, like you said, essentially you're only using 30 kids in that team anyways. So maybe you do that, or you can kind of pick and choose. Like, hey, bud, you're not seeing a lot of time on Friday night. We're not going to dress you because you're going to play Saturday morning in the JV game. The other problem I saw was for some of these stadiums is seating design for the social distancing. I think you can get away with it in some places just because you have the track around it or whatnot, but depending on how it's set up, people are going to go with the sight lines or what's always best, or I'm thinking sort of like Latonia, if I'm remembering correctly. You have some places that you can stand that it's okay, but really the best place to be is in the stadium or in the seating somewhere, and they go straight up, and it's not like they go like from the 10 to 10. They're more like 40 to 40. So that's kind of another problem I saw. And I'm a fan of the lengthened sideline. I think that's kind of cool. Like coaches will love it because now they're just going to run, I already see coaches running the whole 80 yards with them more or less anymore if there's a big play. But we've done this and it's worked well, as far as getting people into the gate, taking the temperatures, all that. Quinn and I just did this all weekend, and there really hasn't been any problem. It's not a ton of overhead cost if you do it the correct way. So I'm glad that they proposed something. As everyone's pushing something back, we're kind of looking forward to move forward with it.
No, I like all those solutions. I think the other thing that we're looking over here is the one was masks worn by all attendees. So when you think about that, there's a big divide in our country right now about wearing masks versus not wearing masks. And naturally, if you want to go to a football game, you want to go to a sporting event, I think this is the way to get it done. I really do. I think this is a very sports etiquette way. So if you want to go watch, you have to wear a mask. I mean, it's safer for everybody around. It's safer for you. It's one of those things where if you want something, you're going to have to sacrifice something to get there. And I think this is a great way. And the Ohio coach is doing a fantastic job of kind of chiming in there with the mask being worn by all attendees. The one I'm really interested about, guys, is the symptom checklist for all participants. So what classifies a participant? Is it the media? Is it coaches? Is it players? Is it camera people? Is it, what is it? And how do you turn that in? Is it a digital checklist that you turn into each school? Is it someone at the gate saying, check? And how do you hold somebody accountable, Richie, if they lie? You know what I mean? Just to get through the gate.
Yeah, it's pretty much impossible to hold them accountable because you don't know what kind of symptoms they have. But I like the temperature checking. I think that's a good way to kind of help that out a little bit. And I think, trying to answer your question there, I think they would have somebody at the gate checking every single person with their temperature and maybe writing their name down and a check mark saying, okay, they're clear to enter the stadium. I think you have to check every person before they walk into the stadium.
Okay. Now, Jamie, when you look at one of these, it's staggered practice times. So they're not allowed to arrive at the same time. Football is such a team sport. Even though they arrive at different times, how do you get them to play together? I mean, you're going to have to get them together the same way you would a band to make sure everybody's on the same page. Do you like the staggered times kind of outline in this proposal?
I mean, it's a good idea for sure, but some of my teammates, I think it would have been tough for them to show up at the time that they were supposed to. So you're going to run into problems with that. But it's a good idea having them show up, but you still have to get them out on the field to be able to practice all together at once. And then if you're going to have them leave all at the same time, they're going to have to leave at different amounts. Like, how are you going to work that out?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I guess my question, the only one I really didn't understand, maybe you guys can help me with this, is it says mandatory stoppage of play for 12 minutes, and they cut it down to 6 minutes. Anybody understand what that means and why that's valuable?
I was curious. Does that mean, is that the quarters? Because if not, it's still 48 minutes no matter which way you dice it. But
yeah, but that would mean there's 8 quarters. I don't understand. I don't understand that one. I was hoping somebody might be able to fish that one out, but I think I'm just as confused as everybody else on this. So maybe if anybody out there that's watching right now understands the mandatory stoppage of play for, in 2019 it was 4 for 12 minutes, and now it's going to be 8 for 6 minutes. So I'm interested to see kind of what that is. I don't think it's 8 quarters. I think that would be a little bit weird.
Right.
But I mean, hopefully somebody can answer that question. That's my only one that I had circled on our situation here.
And, to answer a little bit of what, EB was talking about with, people in the stands and stuff. I know, for instance, being associated with South Range, I think a lot of the schools are going to have to do this too, is they're limiting how many seats they're going to sell. They're selling. The visitor side can hold 1,000 people. they're only going to sell 500 tickets. The home side can hold 2,500 people. They're only going to sell 1,250 tickets. And the way they're doing that is they're going to do it all at once. So you can't, nobody's going to be able to walk up to a gate and buy a ticket at all the entire season. You're going to buy your tickets in a one lump sum, and it's for the entire year. So you want all 5 home games, you have to go buy a ticket, and you're going to buy one, I guess like a card, and it's going to have the 5 home games on it. You buy that card for $30 because it's $6 a ticket. You buy that for $30 and that's it. That's your ticket for the entire year for you, and that's it.
See, I've got a problem with that, just because if I can't go and I'm going to a football game and I hand it to my buddy, it's not the same. I mean, it's just not. I see what they're trying to do, but there's all kinds of problems with that from that standpoint. So when you look at that, Paul, like, they're trying to keep the same people going to the games to keep the same germs, I guess, and that's it. So if I hand my ticket to EB next week, he hands his ticket to Jamie the next week, who hands it to Richie the next week. What are we saving here? Like, that doesn't do anything. It's just limiting the amount of money. You know, it's almost like buying season tickets to the Pirates. Like, I'm not going to go to all 81 games. We're going to split it up, and I'm going to buy 30. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Essentially what it is you're buying a season ticket now to a football game. Now, if you go and hand that off, then so be it.
But that's not what they're trying to do here. What they're trying to do is limit the people to the same people that go, to limit the germs. Like that's the whole idea. Because when they suggested, I should say, that it's just the parents or families of the football players and the families of the band and the families of the cheerleaders, I get that. Mentally, that makes sense, and it's feasible because you're coming from the same home and you're separate. Now, if I can't go and I give my ticket to Billy, he doesn't come from the same home. There's different germs, and he sits with my tribe. That messes up everything. So if that's the way they're doing it, I see holes in this. It's almost like Swiss cheese, where again, it's just about revenue.
See, I took it a little bit different. Like I just took it as, we do this in AAU to where you pre-buy the tickets. It doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
And then really it's just an app on your phone, comes in, it's a barcode, you scan it. So now you don't have any exchange of cash. If everything's the closest you get to someone is someone taking your temperature at the door, which you could do through a lot of these ticket booths, really. So that's kind of how I took it.
Right, but we know AAU is about revenue, right? We know that. That's a what we're looking at is we have the schools talking about it's about the kids and the safety. If that's the case, then it should be the same people. Like, there should be almost an identification. Like, your picture should be on your ticket, and then you present your ticket, and then it's punched. Whereas if you don't do that, if it's just a ticket, like a season ticket, you get admit one, I see problems because it's not the same people going to the same games, sitting in the same stadium. So I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just saying that there's going to be concern if that's the way that they go, because you know as well as I do that if an older person buys a ticket, they might decide that, hey, it's rainy, I'm just going to watch this, or I'm going to listen to this on YSN, and give their ticket to somebody else so they can go out of the goodness of their heart. So I think it's a different problem. You're solving one but creating another. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, you have to think about is that you're going to get a ticket, so you get an admission to the game. So they know at max they're going to have 1,750 people in their
Correct.
stadium. Now, these aren't numbered tickets, though, either. Like, it's not to say, hey, you got ticket 1B, you got to sit in that seat. You're just allowed in the stadium, and they're going to block off, every other row, like when you go to the movie theater, or if you go somewhere, and like the restaurants, every other booth is open. So every other thing, that doesn't mean you got to sit in the same spot. You can sit over in this corner one day and over in that corner the next week. So it's not like you're going to have to sit in the same spot to now, I don't know who this person is I'm sitting next to this week, and the next week it's somebody different. They want to control the number of people in the stadium.
Yeah, they're guaranteeing. Let's call it what it is. They're guaranteeing revenue, is what they're doing, because you're paying up front and you're guaranteeing revenue, and that's fine. That's what we're starting to see. It's essentially pay-per-view, right? So no matter if you turn the channel on or not, you're paying to see it. tough luck. You know, if you have a power outage, tough luck. It's one of those things. What I will say is, I would be an advocate for those seating charts. You know, if you buy it, here's where your seat is, and then it's 6 feet away from another family, 6 feet away, one of those things, so you know who's going to be by you for the entire season, and you know that if your germs cross-contaminate, where it came from, as opposed to if you're sitting next to one family and then another, like, you don't know. I mean, we're in a situation here where we had to send one fellow home yesterday because he had symptoms of sickness. And now we look back, and now you have to go down the list of, okay, who did he have contact with? Who did he, you know, all these people, to where this is a very real disease. This is a very real thing. And people are trying to have their cake and eat it too. We're trying to overcome a pandemic and get back to reality at the same time. So my question would be, and the answer is, it's all about revenue. It's all about keeping the doors open. It's all about keeping the sports going, which I've told you time and time again, I am all for. But I don't want this to be disguised as, hey, we're doing this for the kids whenever we're sitting there counting dollars. You see what I mean?
Right. I guess one question I would have is, so how about these places? How do you count, I guess, how many people you let into these places with a lot of standing room? So I take Columbiana for example, because you don't have a lot of seats like South Range does, but you have a lot of standing room, and that's where generally the majority of the people are. So
and I think that's I don't know how they take that into consideration, because I would assume that it's just seating space, seating capacity, right? So when you look
certain
at
number of people are allowed in, whether they sit in the stands or whether they stand on the sidelines.
Well,
They're only
They probably won't even let people stand, to be honest.
no, I don't think they let people stand. I think you have to seat. It's seating capacity only. I think leniency is part of that. Like, I think you'll see it later on in the year, people standing just because that's what they're used to. But you look at, we've got a perfect example here. Ties from Austintown Fitch. When you look at the size of Austintown Fitch Falcon Stadium in comparison to East Palestine, or comparison to Columbiana, or comparison to any one of our stadiums outside of South Range, which it's still bigger than, you look at it and you go, okay, they can afford to really get by the entire season without changing much, because besides there was one or two games that the stadium was pretty full. One of them was Massillon last year, but when you look at it, they can get by on the size of their stadium is just incredible. So it's, you take that and then you divide it by two, and you still probably end up with the same crowd that you had before. Sebring's in the same boat. East Palestine's probably going to be in the same boat. A lot of our schools will probably be in the same boat. Like we talked about yesterday, it's Massillon, Washington. It's Canton, McKinley. Those are the ones that the OHSAA is really concerned about, because how do you social distance 20,000 people? You know, when the stadium's set up for 19, that's the problem. So I think from all the suggestions, and don't worry guys, if we didn't get to you on this, we will. But it's one of those things where there's a lot of suggestions on that particular document and that proposal. A lot of them are great. But a lot of, there's a couple of them that you go, this could be interesting. I mean, one of the ones we asked about was the mandatory stoppage, and that's injuries, or it's being suggested that's injuries and things of that nature. I can get with that. I really can, because kids are supposed to get to the sidelines if they can anyway. You know what I mean? It's one of those situations in baseball where, you're tying your shoe and you're just taking time so the coach can talk to the new hitter or sacrifice bunt or do any of that stuff. So all interesting stuff. I'm really, 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 I'm intrigued and really enthused about this, because it feels like they took their time and they took a lot of suggestions from coaches here in the area to put it together. So we'll definitely get back to this at some point, if not today, probably tomorrow. But I did want to get to this, guys. Football season pushed back in Texas, and we always say, what happens in Texas is probably going to domino the rest of it. The interesting thing about this story, though, is only the big schools are affected. They're only pushing back the big schools like Austin and Dallas and major cities in Texas. The smaller schools are still on task. Is this something that you'd want to see adopted in Ohio, that only the big cities like Cleveland and Columbus, Cincinnati, they start a month back, and then the smaller schools, the smaller cities are able to play a full schedule? Is this feasible? We'll start with Billy Mack.
I don't know. It would just depend on the scheduling because I mean, when I was in school, we were a good D4-5 team. We were playing bad D1 teams, so now all of a sudden we can't play them. So if you push back, so like, and I know certain schools do that for playoff pushes. They have a good team. They know they have a good team. They schedule a bad Division 1 or 2 team so they can get those computer points to kind of get themselves projected into the playoffs. So if you were to do that here, I mean, you'd have to change the schedule. And football's a little different than doing like a baseball where you're just saying, all right, we can't play you. We're just going to play somebody else today. So that would be my concern on that part if we did that. I doubt we would do that. Once again, that would make OSHA make a decision, and we know that that's not going to happen.
Ty, you represent one of the biggest schools that we have in Austintown Fitch. Would you want to see this happen to a school like Fitch?
I think just to piggyback off of what he said, it's gonna be extremely hard to do that because you play a lot of these D1 schools that are situated in these bigger cities, and now they don't play those schools. They have to go with a D3 or a D4 school instead, and then that loses points for them to make it possibly into the playoffs, or maybe Fitch itself schedule gets pushed back because of just the capacity of students and people that live in that concentrated area of Austintown, Ohio. I feel like it's just. It makes it really hard if you delay one set of schools back a month and then do everything else. I feel like if you're going to do like the state championship same way, you need to have everyone scheduled. No matter what division, they have to be scheduled at the same time. I think that's kind of part of the fairity and the equality between all the schools and all the teams.
Quinn, your thoughts on moving the bigger schools and the bigger cities back a month and letting the smaller schools play it out?
I mean, it's feasible, but like Billy said, it would require OSHA to make a decision, and that's just not going to happen.
I feel like OSHA's this punching bag that we just keep going at.
It's the honest truth. I mean, they keep dodging and avoiding making decisions when they need to. But it's a plan that can happen. I mean, if it could happen in Texas, it could easily happen in Ohio.
Anybody else have an opinion on this? Seeing the big schools take a knee, so to speak, on 3 to 4 weeks of the season and letting everybody else play out?
I think about some of those schools like a Mooney, Ursuline, Steubenville, who are those D3, D4 schools who play a lot of the D1 Cincinnati or D1 Cleveland schools. I'd be kind of nervous about that because, I mean, how many times has Mooney or Ursuline gone 4-6 and made the playoffs because they play that weighted schedule? And what some of these teams do too, like Steubenville or Massillon, who play out of state schools. So I mean, I know that's a whole different problem, but I guess time will tell. Is it feasible? Yeah, anything's feasible, but realistically, would it work? Probably not, because it just causes too many headaches.
I feel like Texas is big enough of a state that they can play, D1s play D1s, the Austins just play there. In Ohio, it's a little bit more difficult because you have to use the entire state. Sorry.
No, I mean, because that's what I was going to say. Like Ohio, Pennsylvania, we're hotbeds for high school football and football players. But like Texas, I mean, gosh, any of us can go online and see some of these Texas high school stadiums are multi-million-dollar stadiums, and that's where a high school plays. I mean, you're in the Dallas area. I mean, those things are bigger than some of the NFL and sometimes college stadiums, and that's a high school that uses that. Like you said, I think they're so centralized that, like, listen, all these D1 or whatever they are there, it's like quad A and all that stuff. Like, they play each other. They don't play down at all ever. So they're in their own little boat over there. And here, like EB said, that you got teams like Mooney and, Ursuline having to play up a lot because people won't play them. I don't think they have that much over there. Like, there's such a big gap, I think, between your elite high schools that are over there compared to, like, even the next level down. Like, those schools are just, they're outnumbered so bad that they don't even, like, play them. So they're like their own little boat. Leave them alone. Let them go play by themselves, and I think they'll be fine.
Well, not to mention, guys, don't forget this. If you're looking at just those big cities like Houston, Austin, Dallas, they've got some football teams that are pretty doggone good at the next level. You look at the University of Houston, you look at the Cowboys, you look at Houston, as in, the Texans. They can probably afford to, if it needs to go an extra few weeks, play in those stadiums for a nominal fee, of course. So that's one of the things to keep in mind as well is nothing's done without scratching a little bit of cash across the counter. So we'll see how that goes. We're going to take a quick break, and we've got still a lot to talk about. An MLB fan app, guys, is out, and you can cheer or boo your team, and it can be reflected from anywhere in the world into your stadium. We're going to talk about that. We're going to be talking and previewing the Class B awards coming soon on YSN. Also, a free pass if another team from another city came into your squad's town. Pittsburgh Pirates, would you be able to get a free pass to cheer for that team? We'll discuss that, and we'll also discuss the best backup position in sports, as well as if you had one ticket to any sporting event in the world, what would it be and why? All that and your G. Burbick Farms What's Your Beef coming up on the YSN Power Hour right after this.
Baird Brothers remains your source for fine hardwood products. For the time being, we're open for customer pickup only on weekdays, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m., and Saturday from 9 a.m. till noon. Place your order online at bairdbrothers.com. Baird Brothers, for the place you love.
Quality, customer service, and integrity. Those are the 4 words that have driven our success since 1957 at Joe Dickey Electric.
Joe Dickey Electric is one Mahoning Valley landmark business that stays current with the requirements of our customers. Family owned and managed, we are an electrical contractor and energy solutions provider. Every member of our team adds to his or her skill set through ongoing training. Residential, commercial, industrial, automotive, and more. We keep ahead of the needs of our customers with a fleet of more than 50 vehicles and 24/7 emergency service, so you're never left in the dark.
The 4M Company, being an architect and construction manager for over 40 years, has had the opportunity to use many different electrical businesses for our projects. The depth, quality, and knowledge and attention to detail displayed by Dickey Electric makes them stand out above all the rest.
For state-of-the-art expertise and a timeless commitment to our customers, contact Joe Dickey Electric. We are everything electrical.
Friday night, it's fresh limousine. I'm feeling pretty good about myself, like I'm living the dream. Platform shoes, strutting down the street. It's gonna get hot here, I hope you can handle the heat.
Over the years, you watched us grow, and as we've done, so has the Myers Family Insurance team.
Thanks to all of you who have trusted our families to help you with your Medicare needs.
Myers Family Insurance looks forward to helping you now for years to come, so call our family today and remind them how cute we are.
Myers Family Insurance continues to be the area's resource for all your Medicare and retirement needs. Call today, 330-286-3044.
And welcome back to the YSN Power Hour. DJ Yoakley with you, as well as all the good-looking gentlemen here on your screen. Guys, very interesting. We live in the day and age of technology, and now with no fans allowed in the stands for Major League Baseball, the MLB has come out with a fan app to where you can take your phone anywhere in the world and you can log on and cheer and boo anytime during the game, and it will be represented over the loudspeakers. They'll be piping in the crowd noise via this MLB app. Is this a good idea, bad idea, or do you, in Quinn's case, I think we all know, you don't care? Let's start down at the end. Ty, talk to me about how you like this fan app or don't like this fan app at all.
I mean, honestly, I'm kind of in the same boat where I feel like it doesn't matter. I know they're just trying to do stuff to simulate that crowd noise in these big stadiums because it's going to be different without the fans there. I don't know. We've seen it kind of in the NFL draft when they did that and how they kind of implemented that. It's not the same. It's not going to be the same. That's not what they're trying to get out of this. They're just trying to get as close to the fans being in the stadium as they can. I don't know. I feel like you're going to see maybe a decent amount of people jump on it the first week, but I feel like it's going to fall off completely. You're not going to see many people do it because, I mean, now it's like I have to watch the game on TV and log into an app that I'm going to be cheering on when I don't know. I feel like it's too many things to do. If I want to watch a baseball game, I'm just going to watch a baseball game.
Good take. Let's just get this over with. Quinn, go ahead.
Personally, don't care. Doesn't matter. Irrelevant. the point of maybe baseball fans. I mean, do you like? I haven't watched a baseball game yet, obviously, but can you like really hear the crowd noise and all that stuff during a TV broadcast?
Yes, Quinn. It's
Can
exactly
you?
like every other sport.
Hell, I don't know. It's baseball. I don't watch baseball. I don't know. It'll be nice for, I guess, Indian fans to go on there and boo the Yankees without even watching the game, I guess. But who cares? Who cares?
Dynamite drop in, Monty, as always, sipping his tea. Richie, please give us some relief here.
Actually, that's kind of funny that Quinn just said that because that was going to be my take here. I think it's going to turn into a troll job. I just think every team, there's going to be like a Twitter movement. They're going to say, all right, we're going to the Yankees stadium on the MLB app, and we're just going to start booing them. That's what it's going to turn into. I think by the end of the year, the at-bat app will be non-existent for fans to interact with, and I think that's what's going to happen. It's going to turn into a complete troll job.
How long do you think it's going to take for the world to revolve around the Houston Astros and just boo every player that steps up to the dish at Houston's own stadium? I think you're right, Rich. I think that's what it's going to take. JB, help us out here. Is this something that you're looking forward to, or could you give a crap about?
Yeah, I was going to talk about just logging on and booing the Astros the whole time because really, I think that's what it's going to kind of be. I don't know if you've seen the account on Twitter, but it's the Astros Shame Tour. And it's really just going to be that, I think. You're going to get a bunch of people just logging in every game, booing the Astros. And I want to see Altuve cry, if I'm being honest.
Wow, that's my dude, Altuve.
Nah, dude, he's a
All right,
cheater, man.
EB, what's your thoughts on this?
I'm with everyone else. I think like the first probably week or so, the Houston Astros will probably get the most hits out of any team.
Probably.
What I'm curious about is, is it your voice? Like, do you get to record your voice booing or cheering, or is it just like you hit a button and it's a generic like 1950s like crowd noise, clap your hands that you get in like Family Matters?
I don't think you get to record your voice. That would be sweet, but I don't think they're putting that much stock into this.
Well,
to be quite honest with you, I think this is a
really
gimmick.
Bad too.
Then it would be worth it. Outside of that, I really don't care. But I mean, I'm
For
sure.
$19.99, you can give the F-bomb to Jose Altuve.
I mean, it'd be just to see the reaction, see how much people hate him. It'd be worth it.
Paulie, your thoughts?
I think the big thing that like nobody's touched on yet is you have to think about one thing: is the average age of a baseball fan. Like, how many of the fans have a phone that have an app or know how to even use it for that matter? Your traditional baseball fans are in their mid to late 40s and up. So
57 is the number.
Yeah. So how many of those people really care about that? And they're going to sit there and go, do I really want to get on this? Do I care about doing this? I mean, to me, it's just another grab of attention that they need to try to do something to get people to watch the games and feel that they're doing some kind of interaction because they're not going to be able to be in the stadium.
Billy, as a pitcher and a pitching coach now, do you just absolutely just scowl at the idea of allowing anybody in the world to be able to download an app and boo you, and they're not even there?
So I'm a fan before a coach, and I absolutely love this idea. So I really think I've been saying for a long time, we've had a discussion that baseball needs to get creative. And I think this is the gateway to getting creative with some stuff, whether using social media, in-game, mic'd up, fan apps. I think this is just they could really take off here. I mean, whether it goes 2 weeks, the whole year, next year, into next year or following years, I think they need to just start thinking outside the box here and reaching out to that youth. And this is going to be a part of that. This is going to be trending on Twitter next week with the fan app. They're going to promote it in the games. You're going to hear the announcers talk about it a whole bunch. People are going to be watching it early, so it's going to get a lot of attention. It's up to the announcers and people to market it and let it take off.
We're going to take here's a quick poll for you. You can have the fan app or you can have the life-size cutout standees like they're doing in Oakland. Which one would you rather have at your ballpark? Billy, we'll start with you and we'll snake it down.
I think I would rather do the app.
Okay. Paul?
Stand-ups.
EB?
Stand-ups.
Jamie?
I'll go with the app.
Rich?
I'll go stand-ups. It creates revenue.
Quinn?
Stand-ups. I want to see Potesta behind home plate.
Oh, God. You can see that pretty much any day you want. Ty, your thoughts?
I like the stand-ups too. I agree. It's gonna bring in more revenue, I think, than the app will.
I think the stand-ups with a combination, like you buy the stand-up and you get your voice on there, like for $100. I think that'd be cool. I think that'd be legit. So here you go, baseball. Here's an idea for you. From compliments of your folks over at YSN. Just do it both and you'll make some money. So good luck with that. So I think interesting take. I thought we'd all be on the same page with that. I appreciate that we're not. Some breaking news. We will host here at YSN the Class B awards. So you're talking about the most valuable player, the pitcher of the year, the defensive player of the year, catcher of the year. That is my award that I'll be giving out. As well as so many more. We want to make sure these kids get recognized for all the hard work that they've put into this month and a half of a season that we've had here on YSN, courtesy of the Youngstown Class B League. So make sure you stay tuned for that. I believe Friday we'll have the official awards, or at least the beginning of them, all through next week. So make sure you are tuned in for that. We'll have all breaking here on the YSN Power Hour. So stay tuned for that. Here's a question that, when we announced this yesterday, the thoughts of the Blue Jays playing at PNC Park, it kind of picked up steam. But now this question comes into effect because, well, let's just be honest, the Pirates probably aren't going to do very hot this season, and we haven't had a winner for so long. If a team is able to, or is forced to come to your particular city, so you're Cleveland fans, you're Pirate fans, you're, name it, right? Whatever your team is, Jamie, Yankees, if a team comes into your city and they're better than the team that you already cheer for, do you have a free pass to cheer for them that 1 year while they're in your city? Yes or no, and why? Billy, go ahead.
No, I think here's why. It's more of a virtual thing. It'd be different if they were playing at PNC and you get a chance to go to their games and watch them in the stands. This is more of a virtual thing, so it doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. They're just using a field. They could be playing at Bob Scene Park, and I still wouldn't root for the Blue Jays or anybody else that's not the Indians.
The Bob Scene Blue Jays, I'd be all over.
What if they were the Bob Scene Blue Jays? That's different than they're going to be the Toronto Blue Jays in Pittsburgh.
Do they have to be though? That's my question. Are they the Toronto Blue Jays if they're in Pittsburgh? Why couldn't they be? Why couldn't they be the Pittsburgh Blue Jays?
Well, they're not.
They could
they're
be.
They're based out of. Then the Pittsburgh Pirates would be out of town. You're only going to get one team.
No.
It's just a year. It's just a rental. It's just a virtual. Like they need a park to play.
A championship's a championship, my friend. I will take it. If they are the Pittsburgh Blue Jays, listen. If they're the Pittsburgh Blue Jays, we're all in. And I gotta believe that you Clevelanders would be all in if it was the Cleveland Blue Jays. If you knew they were going to probably compete for a title.
No.
Liars, liars, and thieves.
You can't have somebody come into your own ballpark and win it.
No.
Well, you can.
It would be horrible.
I mean,
it would probably happen.
You can't claim it. It'd be, like I said, it'd be different if you got a chance to go to the game and sit in the crowd and get to know the players and see them face to face.
How many players do you get to know in Cleveland? Tell me. Like, do you shake their hands?
Yes, you go down the left field line and you talk to them all the time.
Do you really?
Yep. Or you sit out in the bullpen and you yell at them or talk to them.
Yeah.
You throw balls at them. They throw balls back. They sign them.
Yeah.
Many times.
I have multiple pictures with Lindor.
You probably don't experience.
Richie can get away with this because he can still pass. Like, he puts a hat on and he still looks like a kid. Billy and Paul, you should be ashamed.
No, I mean,
these players are younger than you are. Paul, that could be your son.
I never said I go hang out with the players. No, I'm lucky if I can find my seat half the time. What I'm saying is if the Toronto Blue Jays come to Pittsburgh and they play in the World Series and they win a World Series, Pittsburgh can't say, well, we won a World Series. No, you didn't. The Pirates didn't win it. A team that came in and said, we're going to pay you to use your stadium, we won it, not you. The city of Toronto is going to celebrate and have a great time. The city of Pittsburgh is going to be like, hey, thanks for the money. Hopefully that exchange from Canadian dollars to American did us pretty well.
Usually, yes, because they cost more for them. But yeah, I listen. I'm gonna be that guy.
Pitcher.
I'm gonna be that. Jamie, your thoughts on this? Like, if let's say the Nationals, moved into Yankee Stadium, would you root for the Nationals if you knew they had a pretty good shot at winning the title?
I don't think I'd be rooting for the Nationals.
Screw
no.
off, all of you.
Nobody would root for a team that comes into town.
I am. I'm a Blue Jays fan, diehard. You heard it
All
here
right,
first.
So we'll throw the question at you. You're in your Pittsburgh Pirates gear. Toronto Blue Jays come in to win a World Series. Are we going to see you wearing powder blue Toronto Blue Jays stuff after that?
I'm not going to tell you whether I have a Blue Jays hat right now or not. Like, you're not going to know until I wear it. So I may or may not have already ordered Vlad Jr. jersey. I don't know. We'll find out whenever
For
it comes in.
$10 from China.
Listen, I don't give my reliable sources, okay? Those are reliable sources. They're not
Reliable
legit.
sources.
You'll never get it out of me.
Yeah.
EB, your
Front
thoughts?
runner.
I mean, can you root for another team if they're in your dojo?
Get the booze going under East Palestine.
I mean, what I want to say and what I can't say is two different things right now. So I think it's just another, if it does happen, because the Blue Jays do have a better chance at winning the World Series than the Pirates, of course Pittsburgh fans are going to jump on that just so they can rub it into Cleveland fans. I mean, that's all it is.
Listen, Michael's not here today, so nobody's
Oh, thank
throwing
God.
jabs. Nobody's throwing jabs at Cleveland fans.
Even that he isn't here, every Pittsburgh fan would just be like, well, it's just another championship we have. Make that number 7 or whatever. So
No, that's not
They're
how
gonna
that
say our
works.
city won another championship. Not our team, but our city.
yeah, we're truly, even
Yeah.
other teams come here to win
Hey.
championships. I hear it already.
I don't want to hear from the guy in the Brady Bunch corner that tattooed a state championship on his leg. No, you don't
Do
get
any of
you
you
don't
guys
get
have
to
a state
chime in on this. What's that?
Anybody there have a state championship?
Do you?
I got one.
JV state championship, baby. Congratulations.
Right, right there.
Yeah, Quinn's got a JV state championship. Ty, we're just gonna skip Quinn because we know how this goes with him. All right, do you have a legit take on this?
Yeah, no, you shouldn't jump ship and start cheering for a team that infiltrates your city. You just shouldn't do it. Stay loyal with your team.
Okay. Thanks, Quinn.
You're welcome.
Ty, you're up.
I think you should absolutely be allowed to root for them if they come into it, because you don't know how many people I know that jumped ship and are Yankees fans because they were fans of Derek Jeter. So if you are fans of a player and you could be fans of a whole team because of said player, you should be allowed to be a fan of a team that is coming into your city. At least I have more. I mean, now granted, I'm not going to sit there and be a fan of the Blue Jays if they were to come into Cleveland, right? But I mean, I would also not be opposed to seeing the Blue Jays do good if they're in the city of Cleveland. I think if they're in your city and they're playing in your city, whether or not they represent a different city or not, I think that's a better excuse to root for a team rather than saying, "Oh, I like Derek Jeter, I like the Yankees, I like Barry Bonds, I'm a Giants fan now." So I think that's a better excuse to root for a different team than for just a player.
Ty Bartell with a championship.
That would just piss me off if a team came into Progressive Field and was whooping everybody's butt.
You know how much it pisses me off that there's so many Yankees fans in Ohio because of Derek Jeter, though? Like that, I don't know. I feel like there's more of an excuse if you're rooting for someone who comes into your team.
I don't like Jeter.
That's the kid in the middle.
You're on did steroids, but I liked him.
So I love it. This was a great discussion right here, guys. I mean, is that so, like legit? If someone came to Cleveland and let's take it out of baseball, let's take it to basketball, let's take it to football. Oh man,
that's even worse.
Let's take it to football. Let's say that. Let's say the Eagles were able. Their stadium was you couldn't do it, and the only place they could play is Cleveland. Would you become Eagle fans if they started lighting things up in your city?
No.
I have the same argument.
All right. I'm just saying. I bet a lot of people would jump on that aboard that ship. I'm just saying. I know Browns fans. I know you like to hop on those, especially because it's anybody that plays the Steelers. That's what I'm tired of. Anybody that plays the Steelers fan, that guy can go straight to hell. Straight. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200. Straight to hell, because I know that guy. There's at least one of those guys on this board right here. There's at least one.
We're supposed to root for the Steelers.
Anybody that plays the Steelers.
Which one's that?
So we're supposed to root for the Steelers in those.
You don't have to root for anybody. That's the beautiful thing. You don't have there's no money on it. Just don't root for anybody.
All right.
Well,
So
I like to bet against the Steelers in every game.
We'll throw this to you, DJ.
Yep.
And you can tie this up with a little bow. Cleveland Browns Stadium's under construction. Let's go to Make Believe Land, and they're going to be really good. Like, people are picking them to go to the Super Bowl.
I know what you're gonna do, and you can't do it because that's in the same conference. They would never let it happen in the same division.
Says who?
They just wouldn't.
Says who?
It just wouldn't happen. I know what you're trying to do, and you're not going to get me to say it, number one, so I'm going to argue it till I die.
Because you're going to have to argue against yourself. Cleveland Browns Stadium doesn't get to be, it's not under repair. They say, hey, Pittsburgh, we're going to use your stadium. Could you root for the Browns to win a Super Bowl?
Are the Steelers in existence?
Huh?
Are the Steelers in existence?
Yeah.
But it's different because the Pirates are in the National League and the Blue Jays are in the American. Because everybody here's how this works. Here's how this works. And you, Mr. Raider, know this better than anybody. Is you go, well, the Raiders are my AFC team, and my NFC team is the Falcons, or whatever the hell team you pick in that. Like, you can't have two American League teams. You can't.
So would you do if it was like the Dallas Cowboys?
Yes, let's go. If the Cowboys are in, and I know the Steelers, and they play in the Super Bowl, I'm rooting for the Steelers. But if they're playing in Pittsburgh, let's go Cowboys, America's team in the Steel City. Let's go. Stop it, Jamie.
I can't wait to root for other teams.
I couldn't do it. I just couldn't do it.
So are you saying that they're in Pittsburgh because they couldn't go to Cleveland because they're both in the American League?
What? Say that again.
Toronto.
Okay.
Toronto picked Pittsburgh because they can't go to Cleveland because they're in the American League?
Probably. And it probably has a lot to do with the schedule and how it's set up. They probably did the calculations of
But we don't know that for sure, though, right?
What about the Indians going to PNC? Different divisions.
Dude, I'd root for the Indians at PNC. I'd root for the Indians at Progressive.
The Browns the Browns go to Three Rivers or Heinz Field. You gonna root for them?
First off, the fact that you just called it Three Rivers tells me how freaking old you are.
At least they didn't call it Forbes Field.
That's true. Where you played your first T-ball game.
That's right.
I couldn't.
Could you root for Cleveland if they were in Pittsburgh?
If they were in the NFC, yeah.
Oh my God! You this NFC AFC thing. It don't matter. Teams are teams.
No, it does matter. Like if I'm not playing them twice a year, then yeah, I'll root for them. Like that's my thing. If they're coming, listen. If they're in my house, there's a good chance I'm going to say, yeah, come on. You know what I mean? But the fact that the Browns are in the same division, are a rival, so to speak, of the Steelers, I can't root for them. But like the Blue Jays are not a rival of the Pirates. Like never.
So you tried throwing the argument at me and say, oh, I have this team in this division, this team. No, I got one team. I'm an Oakland Raiders fan. And if the Kansas City Chiefs had to come in and use our stadium, I wouldn't like it. If San Francisco came into our stadium, I wouldn't like it. No, I'm not going to root for them. And you're saying because the Toronto Blue Jays are in the American League, yeah, sure, I'll root for them if they come into our stadium. No, the argument is either I'm not rooting for anybody or I'm going to root for everybody no matter what.
No, it's not. That's not even close to the argument. That's not, no.
That's your argument because you say I couldn't root for Cleveland because we play them twice a year.
We're in the division.
Who cares? They're using your stadium.
Like if the Cardinals came into Pittsburgh, I wouldn't root for the Cardinals because we play them. They're a division rival. Do you see where I'm going with this?
For Toronto, then.
Huh?
Why is it okay to root for Toronto?
They are in the American League. They are in a different league.
Does it matter what league they're in?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It matters. That's the argument here. It matters to me. It matters. So like that's. And Switka's got us both beat because Pittsburgh and Cleveland teams aren't winning anything this year.
That's why I said it's make-believe land at first.
Yeah, well, you're a Raiders fan, a Seminoles fan. Who the hell cares whatever fan you are other than that? I mean, they're all over the board. Who do you like in basketball, Paul?
NBA?
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day when I did pay attention to it, I liked the Spurs. I was a Spurs guy.
Wow, Jeez. Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
Yep.
Best backup position in sports. So this was an interesting take because there's the backup catcher, who's usually the bullpen catcher. You have the backup quarterback holding a clipboard, the backup goaltender wearing the hat on the bench. Guys, if you were a backup in anything, what would you prefer to be, and what would be the best backup position in sports? Captain Know-It-All, Mr. Paul, we'll start with you.
I wouldn't even have to say it had to be a backup position. If I could pick a position, I'd be a long snapper.
Can you just answer the damn question? Like, backup. Like, why do you have to keep molding the questions like it's
then
cheese?
I'll be the backup long snapper. How about
Well played. Well played. Billy, what do you got?
I would be the catcher, the bullpen catcher, the backup catcher. It would be a great time. If, like at a professional level, that'd be awesome. It'd just be awesome to catch some of these guys. Until Chapman came up, then I wouldn't want to catch him.
EB.
Long snapper was good, so I'm going to counter that and be like the backup punter or place kicker. Because I mean, if I'm just collecting a check and showing up, then yeah, man.
What do you say, Jay?
I'm going to have to go with backup quarterback. I mean, you're collecting big money there, and you really just get to stand around and do nothing. So definitely.
Richie?
Until that dude goes down.
I like the backup hockey goalie because you're not expected to be good. If you come off the bench, and you rarely do, fans will say, oh, we lost because we had our backup goalie. And it's like, you're still a professional athlete. You should be good. But I think a backup goalie is perfect. You have no pressure, and you barely get in. You just collect your paychecks.
Quinn, go ahead.
So I initially thought of the backup quarterback, and then I started thinking about it, and then I thought about like Baker's backup would have to play most likely, so I wouldn't want to do that. But like Peyton Manning's backup or something like that, like an all-time great, I wouldn't mind because you're not going to play. So I'd be fine with that. But if I had to pick, I'd say probably like that 10th, 11th, 12th guy at the end of the NBA bench with the towel that just sits there waving the towel.
Go ahead, Ty.
Are we counting bullpen arms in baseball as a backup to a starter?
100%.
All right. I mean, that's easy then. You might not need to be the closer, but if you're a relief pitcher, you pitch 40 games, you pitch an inning a game, and you're making millions of dollars doing that. I mean, those guys are making God knows how much money now. Some of them are making $3-4 million. You have to pitch every few days. You get playing time. You're an integral part of the team, but you're not like you don't have to do something huge every single game. You're not playing a 162 game schedule. You're playing like every few days, pitching an inning.
I can respect that, and that's my. Even if you don't get walkout music like the closer and the setup guy, you're still getting paid like big chang. So it's one of those things where if you're getting paid to walk out once every other day to throw an inning or two, good on you. Like that's awesome. But again, it's not like everybody can dot a 92 mile an hour fastball just walking off the street. So it takes a little bit of talent. But I gotta say I'm with Richie on this backup goaltender. I'm all about it because, like he said, you're not expected to be real good. They didn't they just pull a guy off of the streets to be a goaltender?
He was the Zamboni driver. Yeah. Zamboni driver for the team. He came in at 40 years old and saved the game.
Was that like your lifetime dream right there, Paul? I mean, where somebody pulls you out of North Lima and says, "Hey, we need you to suit up for the Pittsburgh Penguins." Let's move it on to our question of the day. You have one ticket to see a sporting event. Where are you guys going? And we'll start with Ty because he hasn't got to lead anything off yet. Ty, where are you going?
This one's hard because I've been to plenty of playoff basketball and playoff baseball games, but I would say probably Game 7 of a World Series, maybe over basketball. If I can go one ticket, go anywhere, I think Game 7 World Series, because the playoff baseball games I've been to, they've all been high energy, and there's so much anxiety in the stadium, and it's nothing like no other. So to just put that on an even grander stage of putting it on the World Series Game 7, it'd be unbelievable.
Richie?
I'd probably go to the World Baseball Classic just because it's a different environment. There's people banging drums. It's different than American baseball, and it's different teams. You get to experience what other parts of the world are like playing baseball. So I'd like to go to a World Baseball Classic.
Let's go with Paulie.
It's tough. I mean, there's so many different ones, but I guess for me, I would, crazy as it sounds, I know, I'd want to go to the Olympics.
Gymnastics?
No, the one where they got the stick and they twirled a little flat thing around. Yeah, that one. Yeah.
First person in line. First person in line at flag dancing. Paul Munson. Let's go to Billy Mack.
For me, it's pretty simple. A World Series. I'm a baseball guy, and it doesn't even matter who's playing. Just any World Series.
Jamie.
Let me kind of piggyback off the international field. You can get like FIFA World Cup final in Rio. You get Brazil versus Germany. You just feel how crazy that stadium would be. I think that'd be really cool.
Quinn, can you pull yourself together for a minute to answer it?
Yeah, I'm good. I could picture Paul in the Olympics doing that thing. No, it would be along the same lines as Paul, actually. It'd be the gold medal game for basketball. I'd love to see that. I mean, it's probably going to be the USA, to be honest with you, in that anyway. But like it's kind of like what Richie said, too. You get to see other countries compete, and that'd be pretty cool.
Annie B, what do you got?
Mine would be basketball, Duke, UNC.
No college football, no Super Bowls. Great job, guys. I didn't see the international stuff flying all over the place. I used to want to go to a Super Bowl really, really bad. Still do, but it's not like a real.
Corporate.
Yeah, it's very corporate. It's a corporate feel to it, and it's not rah. But so I think a national championship would be kind of cool in football. So that would probably be mine. Or I gotta be honest, I saw one today that really kind of changed my opinion. The Omaha World Series, or even going to the Little League World Series, I think would be pretty cool. Even though that ticket doesn't cost anything and you can go when you want.
I've been there before.
Is it unbelievable?
It's fun. It's a lot of fun. I liked it.
So that's I mean I think a lot of those tickets are pretty good tickets when you look at it and the scope of the game that's being played. So now, as we're in overtime here by about 7 minutes, it leads us to our G. Burbick Farms What's Your Beef? Guys, when you think about what's bothered you over the past 24 hours or maybe longer, you've had some time to stew on it. Let's bring you the beef brought to you by G. Burbick Farms. Ty, since you're the new guy, you get to kick us off.
Just something that's been bothering me the last 24 hours. I don't know. I feel like that just trying to figure out as far as like these sports seasons go, and we're hearing all these things, and I think what I'm worried about is that I keep hearing all these things implemented, and I'm just worried about it's all for naught right now. And I think that's what's kind of been bothering me is I keep seeing them, they're implementing new things, and it's like, it could just be for nothing, and we could just have a canceled season anyway. Like we could get through 10 games of this baseball season, someone tests positive, and then baseball season's done. I don't know. It's not really as much as an anger thing, more as it is just like, is this all for naught? Like we're doing all this, but is anything really going to come out of it?
I hear you, brother. Q, what do you got?
My beef's with myself, actually. So as you know, I quit drinking Mountain Dew.
Yep.
Yeah. So my beef with myself, I should have listened to my dad more when he told me how terrible it was. Because I've stopped and I've actually lost a decent amount of weight so far since then.
Good for you, Quinn.
Yeah, we're all happy for you.
We're proud of you.
Yeah. Congrats, dude. We're thrilled for you. Your kidneys are thanking you right now. Richie, what do you got? Please save us.
I'm just gonna say I had another rain out on Sunday night, so that's
Richie,
my
rain out
beef.
is back. Richie,
Rain out
is
number
back.
5 of the year at Bob Seton Park, so it's a tough. And it always happens for 14-year-old games. It's like my 4th 14U game that's been canceled this year.
Incredible. Rain out Richie, the other way around, is back. Jamie, what do you got?
I don't know. I guess I could go with people that are loud at restaurants. Like I'm here just trying to enjoy my meal. Your table over, you're screaming at the top of your lungs. Like I'm trying to do my best to kind of keep it calm, and I don't like it when you're just being too loud.
EB, you're up.
I'm gonna go with people who still continue to argue about face masks and politics on social media. You're not changing people's minds. Stop it. Quit wasting time.
Agreed. Paul, what's your beef?
My beef is with getting hit with foul balls. I've been hit like the last week. I've been hit 3 times. I got like this monster bruise on my arm right here. I got 2 more on the other shoulder. Yeah, just pisses me off. So that's what I'm mad about.
Where the hell are you standing that you're getting hit with foul balls?
I'm still behind the catcher. I'm umpiring.
Oh, you're umpiring and you're bitching and getting paid and getting hit. Get out of here with that. Get out of here with that. Billy Mack, take us home.
My beef is with Pittsburgh people being okay with the Blue Jays coming into their stadium and rooting for them. It's just, like, I just don't get it. There's just no loyalty in Pittsburgh. If they stunk, there'd be no fans over there.
Sad little man. Sad little man.
Tweet.
DJ's just upset that the Indians are just rolling through his Pirates so far.
Yeah, congratulations. You won an exercise scrimmage. We're all happy for you. We're all happy for you.
Your pitchers are doing a great job this year.
I got to give you guys an update, and this is my beef. To the smartass who thought it would be funny when I rolled through the McDonald's drive-thru yesterday and put 3 pickles on my cheeseburger. You think you're funny? I got your number, buddy. I got you. Yesterday's beef was 1 pickle because there's supposed to be 2. And there were 3 pickles on my cheeseburger. Yeah, you're a smart ass, but we got your number, buddy. I know you're listening, so that's even better. So that's going to do it for...
Have 4.
That's fine with me. You can make a pickle sandwich for all I care. Peanut butter and pickle sandwich, if you haven't tried it, try it. Don't be gross until you try it.
Don't do it.
Don't knock it till you try it. That's all I'm saying. That is going to do it for the Power Hour, guys. Thank you so much. You can catch us tomorrow from 3 to 4 right here on YSN. A lot of these same faces, a lot of these same places right here on the network. We thank our sponsors. We thank our, I won't say contestants, our contributors, and we thank our the people tuning in all across the world right here on ysnlive.com and simulcast on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Guys, until next time, let's say see you later.